So this is the Klutch welding table, fab table. You've all seen it. Plenty of unboxing and assembly and review videos out there. So I skipped that part. And what I wanted to show you are what some of the upgrades that I'm going to go ahead and do to this now. And I will say, out of the box, I'm pretty pleased with it. It's solid, it's sturdy, it's decent quality. The only thing missing from this part of the assembly are the adjustable threaded feet. I left those off because the first thing I'm going to do is to install some casters. So I will say you can buy M10 threaded casters that will thread directly into the bottom of those legs, because they do have a nut welded on the bottom. So you could take some casters and run some the stem style casters right up in there. It's M10 thread and be done with it. However, this thing is just a little bit too tall for what I need, and one of the reasons I need it on wheels is so it can fit underneath my miter station over here. So I'm going to actually and like I said, you don't have to do this. If you want this to be mobile, you can just go and thread some stemmed casters right in the bottom. I'm gonna have to cut the bottoms off, and I'm gonna run some an angle iron frame, and weld some swivel plate casters to the bottom to maintain the current height, and to also get the locking, swiveling casters that I want. And we've got a couple other upgrades planned as well, so we'll jump into those too. Alright, we've got our 3-inch casters tack welded on 36-inch long 2x2 angle iron. The goal or the idea being, once we trim down the bottom portions of the legs, we will take these, I guess, skids or whatever you want to call them, and I don't know if I'm going to bolt them on or weld them on yet. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, so that's that. Next we're going to mark the legs and start cutting. Oh, and real quick, if you are doing this, something to be mindful of, when I tack these on the back side, you want to make sure you get as close to the edges as possible. You don't want to weld, I don't know if you can see, it's kind of out of focus, so there we go. You don't want to weld close to that inner hub, because you'll probably toast those bearings in there. So stay to the outside when you're getting that weld started. And that was just to tack it into place so I can come back and weld it from the perimeter. So, and these are just regular $3 Harbor Freight wheels, but they're rated for like 120 pounds each. Should be plenty. The overall offset of the new rolling skid and casters, the 3-inch casters, ended up being 4 inches. So went ahead and marked 4 inches on both sides of each leg all the way around. And now we'll take the angle grinder and bust them loose. Okay, so we've got it shortened and we've got it rolling, which was objective number one. Next thing we need to do, and I feel like it's just expected at this point, you have to hang your angle grinders from the end. So, Harbor Freight, $13.99 today. I've never really cheaped out. I've cheaped out on a lot of tools. I've never cheaped out on the angle grinders, but they were so cheap, and I would like to have a few of them, you know, for multiple reasons. So I went ahead and picked them up. I figured, hell, if they only last me 6 months, it's probably worth it. So there are a few ways to do this, and I've seen multiple different ways, and I haven't seen a way as easy as what I'm going to try. This tiny flat stock, this is 3/4 inch, 1/8 inch thick. It's lightweight, but it's rigid. I'm gonna drill a couple holes in it, and I'm gonna drill a hole in the legs of one side of the table. I'm gonna bolt it up using some extra hardware. Something I don't know about, this table came with enough hardware to put 4 bolts in each leg. However, each one of my legs only had 2 bolt holes. So I have way more bolts than I need. So I'm going to reuse them, and I'm going to use them to bolt this onto the side. So pretty easy. I'm going to cut this down to length. I think it's like 22 inches. Drill a couple holes, bolt it up, and they should just hang on. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, for the next upgrade, I'm going to take the stock feet that this kit comes with. Since we obviously don't need them now, I am going to flip the table around, drill a couple more holes, run these up. So it comes with 4 feet and 4 nuts. I'm going to use 2 feet and the 4 nuts to make a power cord hanger. I'm going to double nut it, that way I get it nice and tight and have a little bit of clearance to wrap a cable around, because I'm going to need power to this table, portable power to this table, to plug in my angle grinders. And I just so happen to have a nice heavy duty grounded 3 outlet extension cord that I think will fit perfectly on this table. So I'm going to drill a couple more holes, pop those on, and see how it works. Okay, so there are a couple common tools that you're going to need in utilizing this table. And so in order to make this a little more, I don't know, utilitarian, a little more user-friendly, we're going to make use of the space that is provided in that support bracket. This came with this, it's real thin angle, but it will work. It will serve a purpose as a shelf. So we're going to go ahead and fill that void with a shelf. Also, some tools you're going to need, like this, what is this, a 5/16 T-handle Allen key, Allen wrench. It's the size you need for some of these fixture bolts. So, you know, if there is an Allen key that you're going to grab more than others while using this, it's going to be this. So we're going to drill a little hole here, create a little holder for this. You know, your chipping hammer, your brush, your adjustable spanner for your angle grinders is going to be helpful. So we're going to create some storage options for this. Ideally, you would want something metal for the to insert in that shelf space. I don't have a lot of metal lying around, but I have some 2x6 lumber that will fit perfectly in there. Now I know lumber is not a great choice for a welding table where some hot slag or who knows what could fall down and potentially catch something on fire. However, I feel like the odds of that are pretty slim, and until I got this, I was doing all my welding on a wood top anyway, and I've never caught anything on fire welding directly on it. So I feel like it's a fair compromise. Not to mention I'm gonna have stuff on it too. The wood is just gonna be a support for the other items I need to store. So we'll start on that. So this turned out pretty good. This is definitely not the standard fab table that I took out of the box just a few hours ago. So to recap, we built an angle iron and square tube frame. I actually didn't even attach the table to the base at all. The weight of the table and that tight fit holds it in well, and if I ever want to take it out, it's not permanently attached. So just welded on some wheels around the outside. Thing rolls really easy, it's very solid, very stable, doesn't tip, doesn't wobble. I'm very happy with that. One unintended benefit of that frame table is you can see this little piece of flat stock here. That's not part of the base. That's actually what I'm going to use as storage. So, you know, you see here I took some 2x8s and one 2x4 and made a nice little shelf here. I'm going to be able to do the same thing underneath. And I'm going to be able to store. I've got a bucket of scrap metal that is just in the way that I'm going to be able to use here just to kind of save some space and just add one extra layer of utility to this cart. You can see, well, maybe you can't see. That's my chipping hammer, my wire brush. I've got my 5/16 Allen key, drill a hole for it, and my spanner wrench here. Those three tools hanging there, I just used the extra hardware, the bolts that they supplied for the legs. I mentioned I had a handful of extra bolts, so made some holes, run the bolts through. Now I have some hangers. Same thing I did with that flat stock here on the side for the angle grinders. And I used these feet, the extra feet, for the cable wrap. So I was able to reuse a lot of these parts to make this thing even better. I can't complain. I'm happy with this. This is a ready-to-use piece of equipment now. So if you have any questions, let me know. Hope this was helpful to you. Thanks for watching.